Okay, so whether you're doing the handstands, the frog holds or whatever, probably the most important thing for all of this is going to be the foundation, and it's going to be the building block, which is going to be your wrists. I know some of us struggle with our wrists in terms of mobility or flexibility or maybe even just the strength. So we're going to take a little bit of time and we're just going to go over that. If at any point, I'm just going to say this now, if at any point you get any pain in your wrist or anything like that, if you get it on the inside of your wrist, like close to your thumb and your index finger, then it's generally fine. It just means that you need to work on that. And it's the same as if you're doing bicep stuff and your biceps are a bit sore the day after, that part there is where you should feel some of the tension, let's say. If you feel it towards more on the outside of your wrist, where that bony bit is, that's where the cartilage is, okay? So that's the bit that flares up. That doesn't get stronger, that just basically slowly wears away and just gets aggravated. So if you start feeling pain on the outside of your wrist, give it a little bit of time just to try and cool off, and maybe work on the positioning just a little bit more. When you're doing all of these drills, you want to be driving the weight towards that index finger and towards that strong side of the wrist. If everything that we do, or you do it, and you're going out that way, again, you're just crushing that cartilage bit, which isn't very strong. It's not the foundation of our wrist. Okay, so again, that's why we do a lot of stuff where we talk about driving your elbows forward, because then that's keeping that weight stacked over the strong part of the wrist as well. And that's the bit that we can develop and work on. If it's, again, on the outside, the shady bit, and just stop. Okay, cool. So, in terms of trying to work on that mobility, or maybe just warm up stuff for your wrists, which you should do anyway, first things first, just start really simple. Missy's just facing the other way, just so you can see some of the other stuff that she's doing. All I'm going to do, place my hands down on the ground, and I'm just going to go forwards and backwards, and forwards and backwards. I'm going to do about 10 reps. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So same as like I was saying, guys, even when you're doing these drills, try and think about driving the weight towards that thumb and that index finger, and try not to go out towards the side or anything like that, just to try and get used to it. This position isn't going to be too intense anyway, so if you go over to the side a little bit because you're a little bit tight, that's fine, but it's when you get to more advanced stuff, you just want to have that foundation, that awareness of where you need to be going. Just to warm up, what I want you to do, hands still going forwards, and I just want you to try and do big circles. Again, leaning into it a little bit more when you're over the center, again, that strong side of the wrist. I'm going to do about 5 one way, and then you want to go 5 the other way. Try and make the circle lean into it a little bit more, so bigger towards the front end as much as you can. Just try and work into that wrist a little bit more. And then once you're done, exact same thing, we're just going to go hands together, obviously fingers facing outwards, and I just want you to go left and right. Try and go a little further each way. If your wrist comes up a little bit, that's fine, like your palm, the base of your palm, that's fine. Same again, just a couple more reps. And this is going to be everyone's favourite / reason to hate Milo. You're going to go fingers facing you, and then what I want you to do from here, try and keep the fingers flat against the floor. Your palms can come up, okay? And this is going to work a lot probably on that forearm. If your forearms are really tight, it's going to affect your wrists in a big way. Same as if my calves were tight, it's going to affect my ankles in a big way. The foundation is the same, okay? So what I want you to try and do is I'm going to lean back as far as I can with my palms down, and once they get stuck almost, or I can't move anymore, then I want you to let that palm come up, but try and keep your fingers down. Just stretch out those fingers a little bit, and then come back forward. Go back as far as you can, keeping that palm down, and then let the fingers come up. You can speed it up a little bit. Try and go a little further each time. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And relax like that. You can just take a little second, you can just roll your wrist out just a little bit. Just to kind of give yourself a little bit of relief every now and again with your wrist, what you can do is if you grab your wrist and you squeeze, again, towards your thumb side, if you squeeze and you let your hand relax, you should feel almost like a little pop where there's a little space between your hand and your wrist, yeah? It's not disconnecting or anything, so don't panic, but it just creates a little bit of space, and then all I can do is just move my wrist up and down. It's just a really nice way to try and get rid of some of that gunk that might be in your wrist. I don't think that's an official term, gunk in your wrist, but it just feels nice to just try and give it a little bit of relief. You do a couple circles, about 10 circles going one way, and then try 10 circles going the other way, yeah? Don't try and clench your fist or anything like that. You should just feel a little space kind of be created when you squeeze your hands together, yeah? And obviously do the same on the other side. 2 circles in both directions. And then you can relax out there. What you'll probably see us start doing, we'll build on this as we go, we'll start showing you how to develop wrist strength where you can start going push-ups on your wrist, but I'm not going to get into that today, but what I am going to get into is that positioning and just loosening off that wrist a little bit more. So the last one that you're going to do, you're going to go fingers facing towards each other, and I'm going to go wrist down on the ground, and then all I want to do is I'm going to try and drive my elbows as far out one way, and I'm going to try and twist them all the way forward. If you tighten up enough, you should even feel your scaps tighten up as well. So I'm going to push my elbows out one way, and I'm going to try and squeeze round as much as I can, hold it for a couple of seconds, relax, push my elbows out, squeeze round, and I'm going to do about 10 reps again. So that's 3, 4, try and put a little weight into your wrist. If you want to feel a little bit more, you just go further back with your knees, and you should be able to put a bit more weight through your wrists. It doesn't have to be a lot, it doesn't have to be super intense right now. Same again, I'm not sure what number we're on, so we'll do about 4 more. 3, 2, 1. And relax out like this. Okay, so every week we'll build on it and we'll start throwing in some core drills that you should all be doing, whether you're beginner, advanced, intermediate, or somewhere in between all of those. And obviously we're going to be doing some wrist stuff to, again, work on that foundation. Again, it's going to pay off for you big time in terms of CrossFit and stuff like that. If you want to do gymnastics, if you want to do more complex stuff like muscle ups and stuff, if you've already got that wrist strength there, you're going to save yourselves a ton of time. All right?
Peeps.
Bye.